Hello, welcome to Prowess Goes Live. Happy Wednesday, everyone. It has been a while. I know. But it is great to be here with all of you and just to do a 2025 wrap up and then really vision of what to expect from us for the next year. So lots to unpack today. I am very, very, very excited. But we also want this to be a conversation. So throughout, ask us questions. This time is yours. Tell us what you want to know about what happened last year, or I guess this year, and where we're headed. So let's put into chat, what are you most proud of in 2025? What are you most proud of in 2025? And as I'm doing that, I will introduce myself. For those who don't know me, I'm Ashley Connell, CEO and founder of Prowess Project. At Prowess, what we do is we help CEOs match with their ideal OBM, operations partner, ops expert, what have you, who can run their business and systematize their business while the CEO goes and grows it. I've spoken to, at this point, like tens of thousands of CEOs over the past almost 7 years, and they all desperately need that right-hand person who thinks differently and thinks in logic and systems and technology to make everything happen in a way that is repeatable. So again, they can go out and create and have the relationships and build the brand that they once dreamed up. So what are you most proud of? Put into chat. What are you most proud of? I can start. I am most proud of the little girl I brought into this world this year. Little Mila, she is just the baby I didn't even know I needed, but the baby that I really wanted. That's how I would describe her. She's just so cute and snuggly and doesn't move. And I love that about her. So giggly. So anyway, that is mine. Launching teenagers out into the world. I love that. Love that. And Natalie, I know that you have several, sister, but we are going to move into the meat of today. Really, it is the download. Like I said, wrap up for this year. What's happened next year? So let me bring up the whole team. Miss Natalie, Miss Leah, welcome.
Thanks, Ashley. Great to be here.
Good. Okay, so just to set the stage for both of you, this is going to be me asking you questions and me answering too on what worked, what didn't, what's next. So looking back at this year, let's each of us take a moment and think of standout lessons or situations or moments of the year, for all the following things. First, let's do wins that surprised us. What are some wins that surprised you for 2025?
Leah, do you want to start?
Sure. I think there's a couple of them. But the one that comes to mind is that, we were drilling down into systems, right? We were really trying to get specific, and the demand kind of kept shifting, and we had to keep getting more and more specific this year. So what I love, because you know that I love to have my little ways in which we're going to do it, is that by the end of the year, we dialed it in and we were like this, and this. But it was how that it kept shifting. And I think overall with Prowess, it's been shifting and it's changing. And then wouldn't you say mid-year it hit, and we knew exactly where we needed to go. This is what we need to be talking about. This is what we need to be training on, all of that.
Love that.
I love that.
Completely agree. Nat, what do you think?
I'll speak specifically as a working OBM like from a business perspective or like from what I'm seeing out in the real world. So walking in, and I think that I would also caveat this and say this is super common for what we see people in this space experience. So just like Prowess kind of had to have that, agile pivot point, same thing from a business perspective. When I walked into 2025, I was really trying to kind of test out a lot of different offerings and services and figure out what really meshed well with my values and with my niche. And my big lesson in 2025 was that I can make a large sum of money, but it's not always the right client fit. And so while I did have significant success this year from that perspective, I would say there was certainly an element of learning what I will not be doing as I move into 2026. So services that I don't want to support anymore, and really honed in a lot on the type of work that I wanted to do as I move forward in my business. So that was definitely an area that or a lesson that I learned from this year.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Just getting clear on priorities and what you want to do. I think that's huge, Natalie. One of the unexpected wins from this year is we've been doing this for Leah, almost 7 years now. And yes, it has shifted, as you said, and like what we do, what we offer, and just getting clearer and clearer. But this year followed no pattern that any previous year, I mean, I'm talking nothing. And I say that, and going into the end of the year, I was really nervous because historically, Q4 is not a super wild year, or we don't have a ton of demand in Q4. Complete opposite. I feel like in Q4 we hit and we are hitting our stride. And y'all, I mean, it was one call close. And we're going to talk a little bit more about sprinkled throughout of why that could be. But that was a huge win for me. It's just being like, wow, either people get it, the time is happening, like macro, or me, I am explaining it in the best way possible. So that was a huge win for me.
And again, I feel like it all kind of came together when you say like, it's like we were pulling all these different levels and levers. And then finally it's like, now we just got one big one.
That's right. That's right. So talk to me about experiments that failed and what we learned. Do we just want to go Leah, Natalie, me?
Perfect.
That'll work. Leah. Okay, cool.
Well, I'm kind of speaking personally, because I don't know that we had we have these experiments this year. But one thing for myself that I realized was that, it's like we constantly put more and more out there, like whether it's training, whether it's social media content, like all of these things. And I realized like it needs to be simpler. Like doing more is not necessary. I think this year proved it for us. That's not the answer. It is like, and Ashley, I always think about your laser, right? It is the laser to get super focused. And where I loved all the things that we created this year, but I think really just it's like that one thing. What's the one big thing that's going to help people move the furthest and the fastest? And that's what I realized I need to focus on. Because you know me, I'm the one who likes to do all the things. It's like the manifesting generator side of me is like, I want to be doing this. I want to be doing this. I want to help people here and want to help people here. And it's like the best way to help people is one thing, one specific thing.
I love that. And again, I'm going to always speak from the lens of not just a member of the Prowess team, but also the experiences that I am seeing and what we're hearing from our OBMs in the community. But the experiment that failed the most here is not getting it out there. And I don't know how to say it, what it is, but that's a product, something that somebody has developed that is fantastic, that they haven't just put over the finish line. We have a gal that has probably redone her website 6 times and it's still not live. Like, it's those moments where we get in our head, we get in that perfectionist moment where it's like, let's just refine this a little bit more. So again, that can be applied to kind of some of the things that Leah was talking about, in that we wanted to do everything. We wanted to do all the things. But it was really about just not getting that last leg completed of the projects and that sort of thing. So I would definitely say those are the moments where it's like, we need to slow down and focus a little bit more so that we can deliver on what we're trying to achieve there.
Y'all are killing it with these insights. The one experiment that I think I can say that we tried that failed, and what we learned, and I, as the CEO, I'm absolutely going to own this. We took the job description for a salesperson and put way too much into it. We were expecting way too much from one person in one role. And I share this for all of you as a kernel that you can even give back to your clients. You absolutely need to separate the hunter from the closer. And then there's the farmer. Like, those have to be different people, because it is a different focus. It is different skill sets. It is different strengths. It's different personalities that are needed. And when I went out on maternity leave, we tried to do that in like one role. And I again own that I did not set this role up for success. So what we learned is you need one person to go do outbound, and it can be fractional. You need one person who is closing the leads that come from outbound or referrals. And then you need one person who is doing the care and feeding of those clients and upselling. And I know that that's a luxury. You can't always have all of those team members, but that should be where you're headed on the go-to-market and on the sales team, because they really are wildly different skill sets.
Ashley, I just want to add one little nugget to that, because if OBMs are listening and thinking about, oh my gosh, how do I do that for my business? Think about this and how that could apply to your client's business too. So as an OBM and operations partner, that is a thing that we need to help support and look out for, is when is the level of expectation for yourself, for any of the team members, for the CEO themselves, above and beyond a reality, whether that's a metric number that is like impossible to achieve, a roles and responsibilities document, as you mentioned, that was just too cumbersome, a business process, like any of those things. That's really kind of how and where, as operations partner, we need to step in and help support our clients as well.
I love that, Natalie. And what's coming to mind for me is that I think that we've gone from this, like, we're going to do it all kind of attitude here at Prowess, to getting very specific, to be like, not to like, if this is the tool, this tool is for this. And we're not going to ask it to do something else. It's sort of like if that tool has a battery and we're asking it to do all the things, the battery runs out faster, versus like, use that tool for that one thing. And then it's always charged and ready to go. And it's sort of like the same thing with OBMs and their energy. If we take the client and we say yes to everything that they want us to do, our energy ends up depleted, versus saying, nope, this is my zone of genius, but I think we need to outsource that. You need to get someone who just loves social media and they're going to crank all that out. And we're going to get someone who loves sales and they're going to crank that out. I mean, I absolutely love that bringing on someone who just loves the sales side of it, how much energy that's brought back to our team.
I can't say that enough. Woof. All right. So what are moments where we had to pivot or change course?
Ooh, that's a good one. I would definitely say with our technology strategies, and this is more like, I don't know if it's pivot or just stop spinning. And what's coming to mind is that there's so many things out there, right? Especially if we want to talk about the AI world. I don't know if we want to get into that yet, but like that's one area where it's like you can constantly be doing all these different things, and we needed to put a stake in the ground, I feel like. And so now I feel like we do have a better handle on looking at it from one lens, which is the operations lens.
1,000,000%. On my side, one of the moments that I had to kind of pivot or change course, again, kind of talking about the people I wanted to serve and kind of the work that I wanted to do. Early on in the year, I had a couple of clients who were really wanting a lot more in person, and also were wanting a lot more than what I had signed on for. And so the pivot there was, one, obviously it was an impact to income because I terminated the contracts with both of those scenarios. It was not what I had signed up for. It was not what I agreed to. And again, as you're building your business, it's always hard to say no to money. It wasn't that the work was challenging. It wasn't that the deliverables or expectations from like an output were too much, but it was, again, like Leah was saying, my energy. I just knew that I did not have the heart, and I wasn't going to have clients that I continued to support that were not feeding my energy in the way that I wanted them to. So that was really where I had to pivot. And I was fortunate enough to be able to pivot relatively quickly with other clients that could fill in there. So,
well, Natalie, you kind of teed it up for exactly what I was going to say too. I think what is so interesting about business just as a whole is because it goes through all of these different cycles. When you think something is starting to work, something shifts and oh my gosh, it doesn't. I was pretty adamant that we were going to have packages and the CEOs were going to purchase of these 3 packages. There was no wiggle room. There was no, hey, let me retrofit. There was either you want this or you don't want this. And if you want it, great, sign on with us. If you don't, get stepping. And like, first, that is a terrible way of looking at things. But what I realized is in this macro environment, CEOs wanted flexibility. CEOs wanted to be able to kind of build their own or choose their own adventure with the packages that they were purchasing from us. And I had to like have a conversation, Ashley to Ashley's ego on, hey, is it okay to bend our own rules? And is it going to be all right if we're not doing the exact thing that we said that we were going to do when we built this plan, January 1 versus September 1? And so that was a big pivot for me, is just remembering that it's okay to be flexible. That doesn't mean that you don't have a killer business.
I think one little kudo I would give to you though there, Ashley, is that we did it with boundaries. Like we were able to pivot and you were able to make the decisions that were right for the business in a way that didn't drastically slow down operations. It didn't drastically impact our efficiency. It actually probably in the end ultimately benefited us because it helped us tailor where we want to go in the future, how we want to make these processes happen. So I think that that's important to also just kind of keep in mind that sure, you can absolutely be flexible, but still within the boundaries that make sense for our values, our energy, etc.
That's exactly right. Thank you. Thank you.
And well, I was going to say too, I love that it goes back to Prowess's core values, like you mentioned, Natalie, of the emotional intelligence to take, where it's like, so you're starting to get some no's. It's not, well, they're all wrong and I'm right. And it's the answer is also not, I'm doing a terrible job. I have to change what everyone wants. There's a middle ground to listen to your customer, ask more questions, which is what you did, Ashley. You went out and talked to a bunch of people and said, okay, where's this middle ground? What can we do? Because I do think this year overall, for businesses as a whole, I'm seeing it everywhere, was not an easy year, right? There's so much in the climate that was shifting and changing. People were holding their breath for a while and like, what are businesses going to look like? So you had to be flexible this year. So again, kudos to you, Ashley, that you like held the space for that to be like, okay, we need to constantly be evaluating versus push through and say, no, we're just going to keep going because this is what we said we're going to do.
Well, thank you, ladies. Y'all made it happen. All right, let's shift to the next group of questions. So I'm curious. Y'all really have the ear of the OBMs all day, every day. What did you hear from them this year? And were there any common threads?
I feel like this year, our OBMs collectively were getting real serious, right? People wanted to advance who they were and define who they were in their businesses. This year, more than any other year, I've heard people being like, this is what I'm going to call myself, right?
Yeah.
I feel like our crew went into research mode and really got serious about where they wanted to niche, which I love because that's a lot of what we talk about, right? And people got very serious about what that was so they could deliver the best, have the best demand generation for themselves and go out there and find their audience.
Oh, I love hearing that. Favorite word.
Yes. I think the other big thing that we heard from OBMs and that I experienced personally is, and you're going to hear this, right? It's, I need AI in my business because I don't want to be behind, but it's like, what am I going to do? So it was this uplifting of all of the systems. So I've had so many conversations with people that are knowing that they need to upgrade their tech, knowing that they need to upgrade their workflows and systems and solutions. And it's prime time for people like us who are out here and able to do that for them, but they don't know where to start. And so I would almost say in abundance in the last I would definitely say the last quarter and a half, I'm hearing from OBMs that their clients are just wanting that upgraded, refreshed, lower cost, more efficient technology in their businesses. So that then makes the OBMs go, well, I need to do the same for myself. And so again, it's how do we put a stake in the ground and move forward and get something going? So I love that.
Oh, I really love that too. What I heard from the clients is it dovetails exactly like off of what you were saying, Natalie. They are so overwhelmed by technology and AI. I was speaking to someone yesterday and she was like, I don't even know where to start. And so like, imagine all of you all love technology. You all love operations. You love diving into all of that. And if you're still overwhelmed, imagine how your client feels who that's not their zone of genius. Technology is extremely intimidating for them. And so I just heard that over and over and over again of, hey, I know I need to be using technology. I know I need to be automating. I know that I need AI, but I don't know where to start. And I don't know who to trust to tell me what I need. And I think that is the differentiator there is if you can go in and be that person who is like, you don't need the $50,000 tech stack. And I'm going to audit your business, find where your actual pain points are, the actual problems, not just throw you whatever tech stack is going to give me a kickback, and make it fit for your business, not the other way around. That's the answer. That's what people want. So that was really, really, really huge that I heard from so many people. The other big thing that I heard from clients this year that I've heard more than any other year is the idea of resource management and capacity planning. And if you have not listened to Natalie's YouTube podcast, whatever on that, stop what you're doing and go do that, because oftentimes they don't even know those terms, but their pain point is, I have no idea how many more clients I can take on, and can I serve them? Can I not? Or what timing can I bring them on? Or they just have no idea. And so I think that is going to be a huge, huge help that you can do next year, is helping them figure out and plan, when are you going to need to hire the next person?
Yeah.
Based on your trajectories. Okay, if you want to go be a $5 million business, awesome. What is that going to take people bandwidth tools wise in order to get there? This is what that looks like. And just being their partner in that, and taking the data that they already have that they probably don't even know, and really pulling out the insights. It's a big one. And then the last thing that I heard over and over again from clients is, I am the bottleneck and no one is keeping the team accountable but me. That is what I'm hearing over and over again. I need someone to keep the team accountable, because I cannot possibly remember all of those details, tell someone to do something, then follow up with them and grow the business and run the business. I mean, I could feel over the phone, I could feel their angst and overwhelm.
Yeah.
So those would be the three big ones that I heard from clients this year.
So mic drop moment, tip number one for an OBM as it relates to the resource planning and capacity. One of the very first things you can do during an onboarding cycle and in your business audit is have your clients sit down and tell you what their ideal calendar looks like. What does it look like today? And then have them tell you what they want their ideal calendar to look like. I've done this now with the past 3 clients that I have onboarded legitimately for tech search and system implementation. Eye-opening when you essentially say, how many hours a day do you want to work? How many, of this do you want? How many of that do you want? And then they get to the end and they realize that they're, already 30 hours over allocated for one person. Truly eye-opening. So that just a tip there. Tip number 2 on the last piece of being the bottleneck. The easy thing for your client there is tell them that every time that they do something, or not every time, but the next time they onboard a client, the next time they prep a contract, the next time they send a proposal, have them hit record on Loom, show them how to install Loom on your computer, tell them to record it, screen grab it, send you the recording and the link, and you create the SOPs for them. They are mind blown, and immediately to your point, you can see that relief come away. Very easy, quick wins that you can build your credibility and trust with them right away.
So smart, Natalie. So smart. There's 83% of statistics are made up, so I'm going to make up this one too. But I think that you have like 48 hours to really impress a client from when you start. That's when they make the decision if they're going to continue with you or not. So as soon as you can get those quick wins, the better. Maybe it's not 48 hours, maybe it's 2 weeks, but I'm sure chat can tell us the right one. Point is, quick wins are fabulous.
Absolutely.
All right, let's talk about the term that everyone is all hot and bothered about, AI. Tell us, ladies. Tell
Well-
us, ladies. How did it impact just this year?
Yeah. Well, as I mentioned earlier, like I definitely think it has caused some camps to spin, right? We've
Yeah.
seen an influx, and I think like we've just as a team will get now questions be like, okay, in this industry, like, right, like it's different industries, different tools, different products. If you even just look at the advances in ChatGPT, right? Like how many versions have we gone through, and so what it can do, and it's all moving so fast. But I think the big sitting at this end of the year, the big thing is that it all comes back to the simplicity of what do you need to get done? What do you need to use it for? And what is an example of success, right? Otherwise, you can spend hours in there. You can crank out so much data and how many untitled Google Docs, but it doesn't mean anything unless you have a strategy of how you want to go about it.
Untitled Google Docs. Do not look at my drive. Just like do not.
Don't worry. I was playing with Gemini the other day to see if it could actually go in and name them for you. Working on that agent. So because I need it. Like, how many times have you started with a new concept and you're like, ooh, and this is great. I'm going to save this. I'm going to save this. I'm going to save this.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Can you, if you can remember it, can you give those 3 things to ask your client again? That was really great.
You want me to remember what I just said?
I know. As soon as that came out of my mouth, I was like, she's going to be like, well, we have a recording.
Yeah. Just rewind right now.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that was really, really good, Leah. Anything else, AI?
I would say from my perspective, it was, again, getting out of my own dang way, where it was like, again, your clients are coming to you saying, I need this, I want this, but I don't know where to get started. And it was, okay, here is what I am going to do for you. If you are wanting something more than this, then I am not that guy, because I don't have the moment, the time at this point in time to deep dive. And that's not my area of expertise. So here's what I know I can insert. Here's what I know here's where I know I'm limited. And then the last piece that I would just add here, and I think Leah and I both are experiencing this, it is going to be generational. So there is, our children are in the college age, and it is amazing to me their complete detest for and disdain for AI right now. So as you are thinking about that, and as you are experiencing that with your clients, yes, you want to lead with it. You want to be transparent, but it goes back to the ethics and responsibilities piece. If your client isn't interested in it, don't force it. And also, just because your client doesn't want that in their business does not mean that you can't leverage it inside of yours. So just playing that good balance of where and when it's appropriate is important.
Yes. I didn't know that Gen Z is not a big fan, or Alpha or whoever.
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
The 18 to 22 range at this point in time is what I can specifically speak to. They're not cool with it. They're not cool with it.
Yeah, they're cool with it to be efficient, but not as a product, because it's not. And I think a lot of them, rightly so, are looking at it as the future of their own jobs and the workforce. Totally. But it's not cranking out authenticity. And I think a lot of our small sample size really values authenticity.
And sustainability from an environmental perspective. So,
yeah, that's a whole other live show.
Yes.
Yes. But we do have a blog on that. So if you want to go check that out, go do that. What AI, on what I'm hearing from clients, just AI, they don't know what that means. To them, AI is automation, is a zap. Like they don't know. They just need, and I'm not trying to dumb it down. Like, and some of them are very well versed, but most of them are not. And most of them, quite frankly, don't care about the how. They just want to be able to say, is this helping me be more efficient? Am I on the cutting edge to save myself time and money? That's what they care about. How it gets done, they don't really care. They just need a talking point in order to tell somebody else. How are you utilizing AI? This. I'm using it like this. That's it.
Yep.
So don't get into the weeds with them. Don't give all the nitty gritty. Like, you don't, if they're interested, absolutely. But you're going to see the glazing face real quick, real quick. Always be thinking, how does it help my client? Lead with that. All right. Okay. Anything else we want to share before, like, just some wrap up and what's happening next year?
We did have 2 quick questions, so I'll just go through those. The first question was, how can building algorithms help look, or what does that look like as a solution? And Leah, this was back when we were chatting about the systemization. And Christian, please correct me if I'm misunderstanding your question here. How do you build your niche or services around leveraging algorithms?
Do you mean like ad, like algorithm as in Facebook?
And again, Christian, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments here, but I think what we would suggest to you for this is we have a couple of different OEMs that have gone through our program that have really built custom chatbots for clients. Some of them are lead magnets. So there is a gal that has gone through our program, love her to death, who has built essentially lead magnets for a particular genre and a particular niche. And she essentially can turn those around, and the responses to that quiz or that lead magnet get them a full-blown report. And we have another gal that is doing chatbots. So those are website specific agents that are built on, or chatbots that are built on websites. And so she has helped build and mine the data behind that is needed to respond and answer those questions. So to your point, the algorithms for AI scheduling, again, talking about calendarization and all of the things, multiple clients that I have are talking about managing multiple client calendars. How do they get their personal calendar, their business calendar, their et cetera calendar all onto one view? That is something that people would definitely be looking at. And then secondarily, back to the resource planning conversation, you could absolutely take the data and the metrics that are needed from a business owner's back end and then help them build ideal resource planning or ideal resource or ideal capacity plans based on launches, growth, revenue goals, like whatever those might be. That could absolutely be your niche.
So Natalie, what I'm hearing you say is like this AI so whether that's, you want to call it like the prompt, I think that's the same thing as the algorithm,
sure,
or the agent that you put that into, like it's a product for OBMs. And I do think that is a change that we've seen this year, is that OBMs now have the opportunity to have more products that are smaller. And then that can lead, it can one or the other, right? Then that can lead into retainer, or you can have retainers that maybe that has stopped that transition, but you're leaving behind the agents. And now you can be on call to update them, because that's going to happen. And that's the one benefit of using AI and building these into businesses, is someone's got to maintain them. So you, for a low cost, you can come in and say, yes, I'll update the agent every 3 months. I'll update that SOP. If there's a new person, I can train them. You know what I mean? You're in, you're out, but it's reoccurring revenue for you. And I think that if you love that, and especially if you can transition, like you're saying, you've been doing this manually for 12 years. So you intimately know what it takes, and you can translate that into an agent and help create that bot get there. Even if it only can get there 80%, you're saving that person and yourself a ton of time. So it's, some people, there's certain aspects that OBMs are like, no, I want my expertise to be what I'm leaning forward with. And then there's some areas where, yes, I want to build that agent so I can do this for more people. And that's absolutely, either way, it's great.
I
Love
love
it.
it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay. So, just thinking about next year. Well, yeah. Ending out this year, beginning of next year, what I will say is that role of operations, tech, project management, data, that role is no longer a nice to have. For businesses who really want to level up, who want to get past 250, 500, 750, I mean, it is no longer hey, I'm just going to get to $1 million with a VA. Like, that does not exist. And I believe that this role that y'all are filling is going to become more and more talked about, more and more sought after, and more seen as the key to unlock so much for business owners. So, I mean, we've been bullish on this role for 6 years now. And I think for the next 3, we're going to see it explode. I truly believe that. I truly, I feel like last probably decade, it was marketing and it was like all the digital stuff. I think with AI, you're going to see this shift to this operations role that is extremely tech savvy.
Absolutely.
And just a couple statistics to align to that and that perspective. Actually, this last year, there's an average of 400,000 new business registrations in the LLC solopreneur arena. Every one of those business owners at some point in time is going to need a support resource in some capacity. And so if you think about what that looks like on top of the already exploded entrepreneurial growth since 2020, the time is now more than ever.
It's awesome. So then if you're thinking about next year, like what's to come for us, what you're going to see is exactly some of the seeds that Leah planted. You are going to see us focus really, really, really hard. So more to come on that at the beginning of this year, but we're going to get really, really clear on who our niche is. Just like I tell so many people to go out and talk to your potential customers, that's what I have done for the past quarter and learned, quarter, actually, probably 3 quarters, and learned so much. So then taking that, we're going to do a 2.0 on our algorithm, our matching algorithm that matches the OBMs with the CEOs so that it is smarter, faster, and more nuanced when it comes to the matching so we can just get better and better. We're also going to do an overhaul on our training platform and get really clear on the training paths, because that's what we're seeing out there is that just like any role, there are certain specialties that are needed out there, and we want to align accordingly. There's also going to be shifts in this live show. So this one will be the last live show that we are doing. Reason being is what we heard from so many people out there is you want the content and you want us to focus on making the content, like content is king, right? But it doesn't really matter when you are digesting it. And oftentimes you can't watch at 1 p.m. on Wednesdays when, we are doing this. And so in order to get the most content and the best quality content out to you to really change your lives, we are going to focus on our YouTube channel that you can watch on demand and also the podcast. So get excited for new format, new guests, and just deeper conversations on these podcasts. So if you have any questions or any ideas on topics, please, please, please let us know. And if you need the links to our YouTube channel and podcast, we will put those in the chat right now. So with that, thank you all for being part of our amazing community. Leah and Natalie, anything that you would like to share just to wrap us up and wrap up this year and go into 2026?
Just to recap again, I would just say it's been amazing having everyone in the community, and I have learned as much from you all as you have hopefully learned from us this year. We really have, had the opportunity to have so many amazing guests on the show, as well as being able to kind of insert ourselves every month or so along the way also. So, the time is ripe right now for anyone who is interested in stepping into an operations role. We know that there is going to only continue to be more and more demand. I'm so excited about just those seeds that were planted earlier in the year, because they are definitely showing up in spades right now. So that is awesome. And grateful to just be a member of this team. I cannot even tell you what it was like to think about when I officially decided to become the Buffalo. And so I am now thrilled to be a part of this crew.
We're very glad you did, Natalie. And I will add on to that just by saying that, there's so many. I'm very grateful for everyone that we get to meet, like whether it's during the launches, people that join OBMU, people that we meet on these calls. And what I love about everyone that we talk to, and even what we're doing here at Prowess, is the more that you follow that passion and you get specific, and even if it's scary to be like, ooh, I'm going all in on this tiny sliver, that's when you see the magic happen. When you're so passionate about that one specific thing, and yes, it's hard work, but just keep going, because that's when, you see the magic happen. And so, yes, we've been doing this for going on 7 years. And I would say that, what, Ashley, like the last 3, we've really started to see it come together. And now it's like, it's speeding up. So just keep going.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. And I will close us out just saying, I could not be more grateful for the two of you. You have absolutely no idea how much of an impact you make on, of course, my life, but our entire community. And y'all are truly, truly, truly wizards, to say the least. And I am grateful to have you as a part of this Buffalo tribe, Bison tribe. And I am also very grateful for this amazing community of OBMs that we have built. And gosh, just watching y'all thrive, man.
Mm-hmm.
Just watching y'all's businesses just crush it. It's like an honor of a lifetime. And I tell that to so many people. It's like, and then on the opposite side, how grateful these CEOs are when they get matched with the OBMs. I mean, we did one last week, and we presented her with 4 options, and she was like, I could not choose. I had no idea. They were all fabulous. And so again, that is just a testament to how much y'all care, how much you're showing up, and sky's the limit, y'all. So happy 2025. Let's go 2026. Leah is right. We are speeding up. Goodbye, everyone. Happy holidays.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.